everyone, I'm Nikki and I have a treat for you. Today we're going to be looking at 5 different ways to add texture to Christmas tags. Now we're going to start out with a little baking, not really, just die cutting these cute little cookies from Honeybee Stamps. So I'm going to take you quickly through making my images because the main part of this video today is going to be how we add texture, how we add all the detail to our holiday tags. And most of our texture is going to be on top of coloring or over ink blending or just on colored cardstock. It doesn't matter how you do it. Right now, you see I've colored a couple of the bases of the cookies because each of these cookies has a base and then something on top. Really, there's not much of the base visible, so you probably don't even have to do a whole lot on that. But the parts on the tops, like these little greenery, you will see. This greenery I'm going to cover up. You'll see it through what I'm putting over it, but I'm just doing quick coloring. So I'm using alcohol markers because they dry so fast, and I'm just adding a little bit of shadow along the outside edge. What I'm going to put over this, you will be able to see some of that shading, so I just couldn't resist and had to put just a little bit in there. You could do this with ink blending. That's perfectly fine. We're just going to need to make sure that our ink is dry before we start the next step. Okay, I put the tree together on its little cookie base, and now I'm going to cover up the leaves and the greenery with glossy accents. Let me show you what that does. So this is like almost like a liquid plastic that stays nice and glossy. It can be used for all kinds of things. It can even be used as glue if you want it to. But it comes out of this little small spout, and you want to make sure, because it does dry, you want to get an entire section done at a time. So I'm going to do the top section. I'm going to try to get the bottom section covered. And it's just a matter of applying this glossy liquid over your ink. And this is why I said it might be good to do alcohol ink first, because if you had something like a distress ink, you're adding a liquid on the top, you might mess up a little bit of your ink blending if you don't give that enough time to dry. So that's why I used alcohol ink markers. Also because I could get a lot of shading, and I knew that shading would still show up once I put the glossy accents on. This glossy accents looks so much like icing. It gives that nice subtle shine, and it raises up the area of those of the tree so that it's a little bit lifted up like you were icing a cookie. It looks so good. So it's a great way to add texture with that glossy finish. Next, I'm going to show you, whenever it's wintertime, I love ways to make snow and to make Santa's beard all puffy. You can do this with different materials. You could use felt, but I am going to use one of my favorites, which is the Altenew embossing paste. This is a white paste, and it's very easy to kind of mold, so you can make little divots, and you can really make it quite thick, and it still stands up and to me looks like beautiful snow. So you can add layers and layers, and this is kind of what it looks like up close on the snowman so that you can get more of the idea of the texture of it. It's pretty thick, but it actually dries pretty quick, and it's not a terrible cleanup, but I would clean up your tools and everything immediately when you're using it. So number 2 way is to use this paste. Okay, so we've used glossy accents, and now we've tried some paste. I'm going to let this dry. You'll see how cute it is in a minute. Number 3, use glitter paper or glitter washi or something that gives you that nice textured effect. I'm going to cut out some of our die cuts in glitter, and we'll use that same coordinating glitter at different places on our tags. So I'm going to use it for my little berries, I'm going to use it for Santa, and I'm going to use it for the candy canes. My 4th way to add texture is to use actual glitter. Now, I am using that same glossy accents right here, and I'm filling in the area, but I'm going to create some extra texture to this area by adding a clear, chunky glitter on top. And it's only going to stick to the areas where I put this glossy accents. So you could do this with glue. You could do it with all kinds of things. I like glossy accents because I can see the color through it. And when I put the glitter on it, I just like the way that looks. But I believe that if your glue dries clear, it should do the same general thing. I'm using distress glitter, which is pretty chunky, but it's clear. And so I'm just taking my tweezers and I'm dipping this in. You could also pour the glitter over. This little guy already has a glitter nose, so I didn't add any additional glitter to that. But this will dry clear, so I'll still be able to see my color, but it just gives a little bit more detail to this guy. Let me try to zoom in on him. And you can see how much that stands up, and I know you can't see the glittery part, but what I'm doing right now is I'm going around, I put the glossy accents all around these little eyes, and I'm using a little pointy tool just to make sure that I don't have glitter coming in over the eyes. I want to be able to see those really well. Now, if you want to add a second layer or you decide you want to do it somewhere else, I decided I liked it so much that I was going to put it all over the little antlers as well. Then you can go back and add that after. So you can do a section at a time and it's perfectly fine. This is so hard to catch on the camera, but he's got all that glitter. He looks so cute. The last way to add texture is to add something to your card that is not paper. So we've already got paste, but we've got several types of paper. So we've got this glitter strip right here on this one. I'm going to show you all the tags, by the way. But what about adding a wax seal? Or lots of ribbon or something else that just has a different feel to it. It really ups your tags. I'm going to use this cute little wax seal that says like special delivery from the North Pole. I know that's a little hard to see because it's a multicolored piece of wax, but I always struggle with what I'm going to do with my wax seals. And I think the most perfect and one of the ways that I really love is to put them on a tag. People love the way they feel, and it just gives it that raised, really interesting look. Okay, look at how adorable this Santa is. I think this might be my favorite. I just love all the texture that was created for that little Santa. So this next one of the ways that I'm going to create some differences in just texture is I'm going to use a stamp on the patterned paper. And when I stamp it, I am also going to heat emboss it in clear. So I'm going to stamp it in black, and then I'm going to heat emboss this in clear so that it has that extra shine and it stands up a little bit. The other cool thing about this is that we have a die for this. So I can cut it out as a die and it can be a shaped word on the card, which the card, I keep saying card, but I know these are tags, but all of this stuff applies to a card as well. This could be an entire other video, would be how you can use embossing powder to add texture. For right now, we're going to start simple and we're just going to add some clear embossing over our word. One, it keeps the ink from doing any moving around. You don't have to wait for it to dry. And two, it just gives that nice, bold, black, shiny look, which is beautiful. Now it looks good just like this, but in the name of adding texture, I had to put a little sheet of vellum right here. I feel like that just makes the word pop even more. So I added this little sheet of vellum and I'm going to put that in the middle. Then we're going to do our holly that we made. We colored this earlier in the video and I added glitter to the center of the holly, and then I'm adding glossy accents to the leaves. So it'll be a nice shiny little piece of holly. Now, the nice thing about these cookies and this die set is you got tons of pieces to work with, and you really don't need a whole lot on tags. So I did 3 tags. This last one, we added another wax seal to the middle, and I ended up having to put, you can tell my desk gets messier and messier as we go on here, but I had to put a little pop-up tape on this one to make sure that it went above those cute little candy canes. And that's one of the nice things about tags is you can really add as much bulk as you want to because these are going to be on the outside of a present. So they're not having to go through the mail, which is what is super fun to me about them. So I'm going to show you some final pictures. I enjoyed having you here today. Make sure that you hit like and subscribe. That helps us out so much. And all of the links that I used will be in the description. So check those out if you're going shopping today. Have a great day. Bye.